doctorate there. I went on to get it at Oxford. I thought until we were in the green room that in fact
politics has a tendency to go into spin, and I understand that they have to act with less than 100% knowledge. They frequently have to act at 90% knowledge, and intelligence is, as I think Wolfowitz says, always murky. But especially in those situations, if you decide before you go to war, I think you would ask that they examine critically the evidence they have. And I think that was not the case here. It was more like the witch hunting of the past centuries, where you are so convinced about the existence of the witches that when you see a black cat here, well, that's evidence.
Reply was, and you probably see you smiling now, his declaration was as firm as it was unfounded.
We haven't seen any evidence, I think, that the Iraqis gave it to anybody else. And now we know also they didn't have it at all. So the war wasn't perhaps an elegant and brilliant military maneuver, but it was fought on the wrong diagnosis.
What was it in? About it. I was going to ask all sorts of questions. They said it's just nonsense that the media made up. So you have to believe that.
But you would have them in the country. And I still think even today, this would be desirable. When the US give the sovereignty to the Iraqis, then I think monitoring should come back together with the UN in the country. Because there is a vision of a zone free of weapons of mass destruction in the Middle East, with a view that if the Iranians know for sure that the Iraqis don't have any, and the Iraqis know that the Iranians don't have any, that is important. Of course, the Israelis ought to come in somewhere here.
That's my next question.
Also.
What did you mean by that?
Well, when Blair put in the British dossier in September 2002 that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction that were ready for use within 45 minutes, I think we said to ourselves, well, this is a bit of oversell, isn't it? So well, you could defend it before, and it seemed to me also that in case of Iraq, if they can pull themselves together and say that, well, any concessions we can make to each other, that if one of the aims was to send a signal to terrorists around the world that we are determined to take you on, then that has not succeeded. In Iraq itself, mainly, it has bred a lot of terrorism. They still have a lot going on there. And it's bred a lot of hatred to, mainly to the United States, but also to other countries, the Western world.
In response to the question, what do you think was oil? Do you think it was a group of neoconservatives who were not in power at the time? I think it was called the manifesto. America must use its power to spread democracy around the world, starting with